वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा।
Chairman, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A concept which was started by VI Mumbai Center on 8th November 2019, that is of concluding monthly lecture series on important topics with learned speakers in the BI office, got converted to webinars due to the pandemic. Now we are in the 20th lecture of BI Mumbai Center monthly lecture series. Hopefully, with things seeming to be returning to normal, we may have hybrid lectures wherein there will be physical lectures in the BA office and same will be streamed live on Zoom as well as YouTube. So today we will hear about latest trends in building information modeling, which is known as BIM in short. We have Sri Savant Salake, Director of Mrs. Global Prism Infotech Private Limited. BIM is a smart 3D modeling process used to effectively plan, design, construct, and manage building and infrastructure. By keeping a shared resource of project data, BIM helps keeping workers, managers, and stakeholders on the same page. This is not only saves time, but also saves a lot of money, and the completed project is of high quality. With the sort of housing and public infrastructure construction going on in India and planned for the future, use of concept like BIM is of utmost importance. I am aware that we have a lot of students here today. I would like to tell them that BIM is a very viable career option. There are great in demand for carrying out projects and operations at various construction fields. BIM managers have a great role to play in architecture, engineering, and construction tasks, that is, estimating the cost and time for implementation by using the BIM software. I will not dwell much upon this topic and leave it to the keynote speaker to enlighten us. I welcome Sri Savant Salke and look forward to a very enlightened presentation by him. I also welcome all the senior functionaries of BI who have joined us today from across India. I welcome all the participants who have registered and are there with us today from across India and also overseas. Before I sign off, I would like to inform that lecture number 21 of BI Mumbai Center monthly lecture series is on Friday 29th October 21 at 5 p.m. and the topic is Understanding Letter of Credit. The keynote speaker is Krishan Neddu Das. He is a subject matter expert from trade from ICICI Bank Limited. More details will be circulated shortly. I wish you all a very informative evening. Jai Hind. I now request Harsha Shah to introduce the keynote speaker, Sri Savant Salke.
Harsha Shah, Mr. Harsha Shah, Vice Chairman, Mumbai Center. Please take. Harsha Shah, sir, it's yours. Unmute yourself. 1 minute. One minute, sir. Unmute yourself now. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Mr. Savant Salke has done bachelor's in civil engineering from VJTI Mumbai and has done master's from Arizona State University, USA. He has worked in USA, in Australia, and in Australia for a period of 3.5 years as BEAM coordinator, where he worked extensively on BEAM. He came to India and founded Incepted Prism Infratech in 2015 as a proprietorship firm, which is now Global Prism Infratech Private Limited. He has over a decade of experience as BEAM consultant and work on commercial, high-rise, integrated townships, hospitals, industrials, stadiums, industrial and buildings, metros, railways, interstate highways. Global Prism Infratech Private Limited is one of the leading BEAM consultants in India. They work for projects in India, USA, Middle East, and Australia with an experienced team of civil engineers, architects, project managers, and software developers. Thank you.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. I hope my voice is audible.
Yeah, its voice is okay.
And
One of the participants has complained the voice is low, sir. Check it at your end, sir.
Okay.
No, one of the participants in chat has written. Mr.
Yes.
Madhapuri, plus sir, Mr. Madhapuri, please check it at your end. Thank you, sir. Sakle sir, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah, make it. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So I'm Savan Sakle. We are a BEAM consultancy firm based in Nagpur, India. The firm's name is Global Prism Infratech Private Limited. And we have been providing BEAM consultancy since a decade. So thank you for the introduction by Mr. Harshad Mehta, sir. And we are going to talk more about anyone who is going to give admits to the people who are waiting outside.
Yeah, we are there. We are doing that.
Okay.
You carry on with your, sir.
So let's just get on the topic and talk about what BEAM is. We are going to discuss more of the practical applications of BEAM and how BEAM is going to help us save time, money, and effort towards the construction process. To talk about it, the technical definition of BEAM is it is a digital representation of buildings' physical and functional properties and characteristics. So BEAM is basically making a 3D model. Whatever the building is going to get built on site, it's going to be built on a model as a 3D model first, be it an Autodesk platform or a Bentley platform. So building twice enables a project team to fully simulate, design, coordinate, and construct in a virtual environment first prior to the actual execution on site. So what this does is whatever the problems that are going to get arised during the construction, they already arise while we do the modeling. And all those problems are resolved during the modeling phase itself. The model gets coordinated way before the construction begins on the site. And once the model is coordinated with all the disciplines, that is architecture, structure, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and once we extract drawings from that coordinated model and we execute the project as per those drawings, there will be zero issues on the site. That being said, they are always changing from the client side, and those needs to be updated in the BIM model. But if there are no changes from the client side, then and the model is coordinated, and if you are producing, if you are executing as per the coordinated model, then there will be zero issues on the site. These are the snapshots of one of our project. The one on the left is the architectural model. The one on the right is the structural model, and the bottom one is a MEP coordinated model. We are going to talk more about it in a bit. So let's talk about first, what are the problems that we face in the construction industry before we talk more about BIM and how it's going to help us. First, we need to see what problems are that we need to fix. The most important problems that we have is poor coordination. And this one factor, poor coordination leads to design inefficiency. There is interdisciplinary conflicts. There is poor project planning due to that. There are other problems like delayed updates on the site from the team, from the project management team. There's poor document and data management. There's a lot of existing data available already in the construction industry, but there's hardly any data that gets used in the new project. and there is wastage and inaccurate material cost. All this leads to poor productivity, and construction management is not at the optimum level. So what we are looking on the left side is the traditional way of collaborating currently. So all the stakeholders in the project talks with each other and communicate with each other. They try to get information from each other. There is a lot of misunderstanding and miscommunication in this case. Whereas the one on the photo on the right shows beam being one point of contact, where if anyone has any issues, he's going to go to the BIM software and take a look at it. When I say one point contact, the practical way of saying it is, so we use BIM 360 for data collaboration. So this is one point contact for all of us. So all the stakeholders has access to BIM 360. They can log in into it through their email IDs online at any point from anywhere in the world. They will be having the viewing rights, and the downloading rights will be given to specific stakeholders. And this is typical folder structure of any of the BIM project, and it is obviously updated as per the requirement. The architecture model, the structural model, the MEP model, all the models are saved here, along with all the drawings, the construction schedule, the quantities, and RFIs. So if there's any issue if there's any issue, if there are any RFIs raised and any of the stakeholders wants to take a look at the RFIs, any problems that have arisen in the construction site, then he'll just click on RFI and he will see a list of RFIs in front of him. If he click on any specific RFI, it will direct him to that specific entity in that model. Along with that, he will also get a PDF of what's that issue is, so that each and everyone on the project is aware of what that RFI is, who is responsible to fix that RFI, and how urgent is that RFI. If it's red, that is, if it's important, then it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. And so this is one way of collaborating. If any of the stakeholders click on live construction model, then he would be directed to that specific project's green and gray model. That's what we call it. So what this is exactly, the green color shows this much of the construction for that specific building is done, and the gray color shows that this much of the construction is left for that project. And if he clicks on any part of this building, so say he clicks on Mumty, it will show, since the project timeline will be linked to the model, it will show him when that Mumty will be constructed and how many days it will take for the construction of Mumty. Along with that, it will also show how much cost it will take for that specific part to construct. So this is one point platform where all the stakeholders can go in and see their progress of the project. They won't need to go on the site and see. So this helps a lot in the coordination process during the entire project. Talking about the BIM workflow. So this workflow is updated based on the client requirements and what the output of that specific project is. But this is typical workflow that we are going to discuss. So once we start any of the BIM project, the first thing that is done is produce a BEP document. BEP document is the BIM execution plan document. It details about all the project details, what is the requirement from BIM for that specific project, how the BIM is going to get executed for that specific project, what are the milestones, whom from the client side is going to get involved in the process, whom from the BIM consultant is going to get involved in the process. And this BEP document will be updated as and when the project progresses. When the BEP is done and approved, we start with the modeling process. and simultaneously QA QC process is done, and it's a 3-stage QA QC process to get the modeling up to the level that we want. Once we reach LOD 300 or LOD 450, LOD is the level of detailing of the model. So once we reach that level, we do a clash test. Clash test is basically we have seen the architecture, structure, and MEP model. So all these three models are bought into a common platform, say Navisworks Manage or Synchro. We typically use Navisworks Manage, and clashes of one discipline is done with the other. We are going to talk more about it in the later slides. But just to brief you about the in this BIM workflow. Once the clashes are done, if there are any clashes, it's the clashes are informed to the respective consultants, and the clashes are made, and the respective consultants give the updates on it, and the same updates are updated in the model. And once we reach the LOD 400 level, it's a clash-free model. So this is the model which can be used to produce drawings, and any drawings produced from this model will result in 0 issues on the site, unless there are changes from the client side, obviously. So this is typical workflow of BIM workflow. We are going to get back to this slide as and when required. So this is the content of BEP, roles and responsibility of each team. I won't be reading about it. So few observations that we have seen in the projects that we have worked on. These are the advantages that we have come up, and we have seen the 40% elimination of unbudgeted change, cost estimation accuracy within 3%. There's 80% reduction in time. There's a lot of saving in cost. So we are going to see practically how we are going to achieve reduction in cost and how we are going to save time by applying different principle. So like we said, this is the architecture, structure, and MEP model. So a lot of it depends upon how detailed your model is. If you see, these are some of the snapshots of the model. The pic on the left shows the soap dispenser, each and every handle. The pic on the right shows 12 mm gypsum plaster, 2 mm hydrophobic putty, external paint, internal paint, all the pipes, door handle, door eye viewer. So each and every thing that is going to get built on site, it's going to be modeled before it gets built. So what this does is this gives quantification of the model in detail. So the model it's not just a model, it's a database of all the required things, of all the entities that are going to be required during the construction. So this model, it's not just a model, it's a database, it's an intelligent model, you can say. And if we want any extraction of quantities, so if I want door schedule, we can get automated door schedule from the 3D model. So the schedule will talk about height, width, what is the function of the function of that specific door, if it's interior or fire safety door, or what is it made up of, how much frame length is required for it, and all the other data that we want, that we would be wanting our stakeholders and any other person, or the we can even produce shop drawing of detailed shop drawing of the door using this, using the Revit. So quantity extraction is one of the most important advantage that a 3D BIM model gives. Each and every quantity can be extracted automatically through the 3D model. So this is one of the snapshot from the Revit model where you can see the structural foundation schedule is produced, and it gives volume of the footing. It gives the slab volume, and these quantities can be produced building wise, floor wise. If you want quantities for one specific area of the project, say a bedroom or a kitchen, then we can get quantities of that specific area only, or we can get quantities for the whole project also. this is another snapshot of the for similar kind of project. So this is list of architecture and structure quantities which can be extracted. The list is not limited to this. It can be extended whenever required. So we can see the excavation, footing, PCC, the column quantification, formwork can be quantified, the internal putty, the plaster, ready mix plaster, be it flooring area or the doors, the windows. This is for the architecture and structure. And similarly, the MEP model would give the MEP quantities. These are the list of plumbing items that are extracted from the MEP model. The length of the pipe based on different diameter or different functions, and all the plumbing fixtures, the numbers of them can be easily extracted from the Revit model. Again, these are more snapshots of different quantities extracted. These are the firefighting items extracted from the model. Electrical items, even the conduit's length can be extracted. HVAC. So like I said, the quantities can be extracted from beam and it can be changed. It can be converted into Excel, and again it can be done building wise, floor wise, or howsoever we want it. So okay, so we have a BIM model and we have extracted quantities. Now we would want to save. We would want to procure some items on based on that BIM model. So let's talk about that. So before that, let's talk about rebar modeling. So this is the rebar model that we have done for one of the project. It's each and every bar is modeled along with the links, and there were clashes with the windows in the if we extend the cantilever beam, and the clashes were rectified after after consultation with the structural team. And once we have the rebar model, we can also extract a bar bending schedule from the rebar model. And this bar bending schedule can be used for can be issued on site, and it can be used for it saves a lot of steel on the site. So this is one USP or the program or a plugin that is available, and the program is run in Python. So once we run this program on the rebar model, what this does, it analyzes data in the project and finds out the best combination of cutting for each 12-meter reinforcement bar. So what this does is once we run this program in the rebar model, it analyzes all the cut length data. So if it's a 16 mm diameter bar required in the project, then it will produce a bar bending schedule of 16 mm dar, and it gives us a schedule that how that 16 mm dia bar should be cut, such that each and every cut piece is utilized at some or the other location. So each and every 12-meter length reinforcement bar is cut such that each and every part of it is utilized at some or the other location. So what this does is this has saved a lot of this helps to save a lot of steel on site. In any of the conventional site where there is no where the beam is not utilized, there is wastage of around 10% in the steel, but this wastage is reduced to about 2 to 3%. And if we quantify it into how much money you are saving, then if we consider a building of 12 lakh square feet area, and if we say that 5 kg per square feet steel is required for that much of area, then 6,000 tons is the quantity of steel required. Considering 8 to 10% wastage on any conventional site, we would be wasting around 540 tons. And using this plugin, using this program, if we give the bar bending schedule on site, and if they do it as per that BBS, then it would lead to 2% wastage on site. So there's saving of 7%, that is 420 tons of steel is saved, and it would lead to cost saving of around over 2 crores, considering the 50,000 rupees per ton. I think this is increased now. So plugins or programs, USPs like this can help to save a lot of steel. It's just that the site team should be coordinated well with the bar bending schedule, and they should apply it on the site, and they should do it as per the schedule given to them. Another way of saving material is one of the other material that we can easily save is the tile wastage. So what this USP does is each tile in the project is assumed as a separate entity, and every possible rearrangement combination is computed with a minimum wastage parameter. So it rearranges all all the tiles in the project and comes up with the best possible fit, such that the cuts are less. It gives you the starting position where the tiles should be where the laying of tiles should begin, and it places such that even if there are cuts, if the tiles are required to be cut, then that cut part is utilized at a different place if it's a typical floor. So we have seen wastage has reduced from 11 to 13% to 2 to 3% if we use this. And again, this leads to a lot of saving in tiles. The same USP can be applied to wall cladding and other materials too, even the bricks. So clash detection, we talked about it a while ago. This is one of the most talked about topics when you talk about BIM, how it saves, it helps to detect clashes ahead of time, and it helps to produce coordinated model. I'm just going to talk about the same. And so this is one of the snapshots from a hostel project that we have worked on. And what we do in this clash detection is each discipline, that is architecture, structure, electrical, plumbing, the one discipline is clashed with other. So structure is clashed with plumbing, or fire, or HVAC is clashed with fire, or we can clash architecture structure with all the MEP. And Navisworks Manage is what we use to do this, and it gives you a list of clashes that are there in the project, and we can highlight those clashes as red, green, or orange depending upon the urgency of them. And if we click on any of the clash, it will take you to that specific location, and it will also so all these clashes are updated on the BIM 360 platform, where all the consultants or all the stakeholders would know that these clashes or would need to be coordinated before we release GFCs on the site. So we have been working on some of the hospital projects, and we have seen that there are so many hundreds and thousands of clashes that needs to be rectified before releasing any project, any drawing. So if we are looking at this photo here, the one on the bottom left here, bottom left, the staircase is clashing with the BIM. In this case, if it would have been on the side, they might just shift the beam towards the other side, and hence the wall on the top of beam would also need to be might also need to be shifted, and resulting into a room size decrement. So all these issues like this are comes to surface way beforehand, and the clashes are resolved. So with the help of all these projects and all these softwares, digital project management can be done through it. So use of integration of different software which are based on Autodesk and Bentley platform, and integration of project schedule and estimate with 3D model has a lot of advantages, like it reduces material costs, like we talked about how it is done. It lowers construction costs, procurement of material, whatever the materials that are required on site. If we are going to cast three slabs at a time after a month, then we can get that specific amount of material only on the site, and there's less inventory on the site. there's a lot of informed decision making, and the client would know how much time it will take to build a given milestone, what will the cost required for it, and it gives clear understanding to him so that he can make an informed decision. He can also manage his finance well. And we have implemented principles of Toyota Way for construction management using BIM. And we found that the BIM is the best way to implement principles of Toyota Way. We won't be talking much more about the principles of Toyota Way, how application of them is done, because it's going to take a lot of time. It will need another session to brief that out completely. But some of the main principles of Toyota Way are, it talks about not having any inventory on the site. It talks about creating a pull system instead of push system. It talks about time delivery of method, project delivery, and there's a lot of standardization of tasks that takes place if we implement all these principles. And a lean system is developed if we implement all these principles using BIM. And DPMC, that is Digital Project Management Consultancy, helps to achieve all of it. What we are looking at is the people wearing a gear. It's called Oculus or HTC Vive. So they can wear this, they can hover over the model, they can get into model and feel a real lifelike situation. And not only is just a walkthrough, they can also click on any of the entities in the model. It would help them to know that what that entity is, what it is made up of, who is a vendor for that, how much is the cost required for that specific entity, when is it going to get built on the site. So the client gets clarity and grip. It gives a lot of confidence to the client that about his project, and he can always think of other options if he thinks it's getting costly for him. So this is one of the snapshot of scheduling done in Primavera P6. And what we do is we make this detailed schedule with the sitting with the project manager, and we link this schedule with the 3D model. We also get estimate from the cost of each item from the project manager, and we link the cost estimates of those with the 3D model. And we produce 4D and 5D simulations like this. This is produced for one of the hostel projects. And if I pause this video at any instance, it will show me that this much of construction is done on this date after these many days of the construction begin, after these many days when the construction began. And the material cost required for this much of construction would be this much, labor cost would be this much, equipment cost is this much, and total cost is this much. And these 4D and 5D simulations are upgraded and changed as and when required on the project. And these are produced bi-weekly or monthly and handed over on the site. So this helps in better finance management for the client. This is snapshot of the same 4D and 5D construction simulation. Now, there's a lot of unwanted issues that always come on site, which is difficult to avoid. So what we are looking at is as planned versus as built project comparison. The blue color is the timeline schedule which was planned, but because of some of the other issues, there was delay on the site and it got delayed. And the one on the right, the red colored, is the one that is as built. So this helps to understand what was it that caused a delay on the site, and how much that delay is, how much cost it might cause in his project, due to this delay. And this helps to take, I mean, whosoever when the handling is done, the handling date can be always changed because of with the help of this as planned and as built scheduling. There's almost lapse of like a month or two in this. So again, this is a snapshot of the BIM 360 platform, which we extensively use for collaboration. And this is where all the data of that specific project is fed in. So construction schedule is here and it's updated every now and then. All the quantities, all the stakeholders can always go into any of these project folders. Say if it's quantity, he can go into that quantity and see what are the quantities take off, how much of the construction is done on site. And this is a good one single stop communication for all the stakeholders to know whereabouts of the project. So again, if he clicks on the live construction model, it will show him the amount of construction that is done on the site and the amount that is remaining. So all the changes happening on the site is updated in real time in the BIM model. So there is no documentation that used to be done in the past, and all the things are updated online and kept track of. So once we have the BIM coordinated model ready, we want to extract drawings out of it. Traditionally we have been doing it in 2D CAD. Now people have started doing it through Revit, but even in Revit there is it's a very labor intensive and time consuming task to produce any drawings, because there's tagging and annotations, and a lot of work is required to be done. But there are some external softwares like Dynamo or Clarity. I'm not sure if anyone of you heard of it. So there's a software called Clarity, which does auto sheet generations from Revit model. So be it architecture floor plans, sections, we would need to give rules and rules of what we want, how our sheet should be. And once we give a set of rules on the in the software, in the program, it would automatically generate sheets as per those rules. So be it slab edge drawings, be it elevation, toilet details, kitchen details, all the drawings, MEP coordinated drawings, all of it can be produced automatically. There is tremendous amount of manpower saved if you use any of these plugins to generate drawings. And again, these drawings generated would be coordinated drawings, and there will be no issues in these drawings. There will be no clashes or etc. This is snapshot of the MEP extracted drawing from the Revit model. The one on the bottom left is a toilet section extracted from it, kitchen section. This is slab edge drawing, and all the annotations, everything, it's already done. So there's a lot of automation that's been happening in this industry, and with the help of softwares like Dynamo, Grasshoppers, and all the external plugins, significant amount of labor is saved to get the required results. Now let's talk about the facility management or the operations management. So once the modeling is done, so the modeling is done, the drawings are given on site, the project is executed as per the drawings, and the project is done. And it is time for the handover. The client wants the BIM model, and he would need to know how this BIM model would help him in the future. So instead of handling him just LOD 500, the level of detailing 500 model, we would be handling him a digital twin, and that model will have all the information which he could use in the future. So if he goes into model and if he clicks on this CCTV camera, then he would know that this CCTV camera is bought from this vendor. It's of this company, and if there's any issues in this, this is the warranty of this specific electrical item, and if there's any issues, then he would need to contact that vendor. So he can use that BIM model throughout the life cycle of the project. So there is another software called UBIM, and this UBIM integrates all the Autodesk and Bentley software and into one. And so supposedly in this case, client is having a UBIM platform. He's using the UBIM platform to do facility to manage his buildings, or he has given it to the admin. And if he sees there is any electrical fixture that's having issues, then he would go into UBIM software. He would click on that electrical fixture. He would see that, okay, this is the vendor for this specific item, and he would raise a query and he would send an email to that vendor. The vendor would know that, okay, this is the project where this needs to be fixed, and he would, after clicking that, he would also get all the specifications of that specific entity. He would know where that item is located with the help of 3D model and the drawing, and he would know that, okay, this item is located at some height from the floor level, so he would know that he'll need to bring a ladder also along with him. So this helps a lot to facility managers for during the life cycle of the project, and they can take care of each and every entity. So this is more useful for a hospital project or any place where there's a lot of HVACs or electrical equipments. So like we said, creation of digital twin models at handover stage instead of LOD 500 BIM model. So these BIM models are live breathing replicas of entire facility with multiple sensors of various types incorporated in them. And since the vendor list is also incorporated in the model, whenever any sensor data approaches its safety threshold, the automated call and actions are generated to that specific vendor. And this can easily be linked to the BMS. We have worked on one of the biological BSL 3-level labs where we have used 7D, that is facility management or operations management, which we are talking about. And we have integrated BIM with the BMS, and this BSL 3-level safety lab had tremendous amount of, the electrical fixtures, all the HVACs, and the pressure would need to be controlled, the temperature would need to be controlled. They would have this facility required. There's no way it could go into electrical shutdown, so it had triple back down. A triple backup of the electrical. So these are the laboratories. The laboratory that we are talking about are the laboratories where viruses like coronavirus are studied. And I would have been happy if I could have shared more photos of it to show how we did it. But I have a strong NDA agreement with these people, and I won't be able to share more of it. But any hospital project, any commercial project, and facility management or operations management, or any of the office building which has complex HVACs and electricals, this helps a lot. So there's a lot of people who are applying operation facility management for the as-built structure also. So there's one more service called Scan to BIM, where the existing structure is scanned with the help of LiDAR or any or laser scanner, and a 3D model is made out of it. And 3D model is again um, again reach in data for any um future benefits. So BIM, like we said, BIM is not only used before construction, during construction, after construction. It's used for throughout the life cycle of the project. BIM is also used, the same Revit model, the same 3D model can be used to do energy analysis, daylight analysis, or to have life saving. I mean, we are all aware of the Griha, IGBCs, and the lead platforms that are used for the green buildings, and there's a lot of awareness because of it. And the same BIM model can be used to perform energy analysis. We won't be talking much about it because it's going to take another session to describe how it's done for the how to use BIM for sustainability. One place where BIM has significantly used is for the MEP coordination. The MEP coordinated model has been of significant importance for producing clash-free drawings, and they have saved a lot of issues that used to arise before the modeling was used. These are some of the snapshots of the same of different MEP models. You can see each and every pipe, each and every electrical fixture, everything is modeled uh, to fix any issues that might be there. So these are all the things that are done till now. I mean, there are many people who are doing it in the industry, and there's a lot of saving which can be done for any project if the BIM is implemented in the right way. And now let's talk about the future of BIM. So there's a lot of data in the construction industry which exists, but that is never used. So 90% of drawn buildings never get built. There's also a lot of loss of data, and there are a lot of people in US who are working on computational design and use of this data to produce solutions. So we are going to see one program, a TestFit. A TestFit is what it's called. So what they do is, if you give them that this is the square feet of, so say 10,000 square feet is the area of land that I have, and these are the rules by which I want to plan my building, and these are the rules by which I want to plan my building, and this is my requirement that I want it to be a residential project with these many 2 BHKs and 3 BHKs. So it would it would run its algorithm and data and do the computational design, and it will come up with thousands of solutions, and it will also come up with the optimized solution which can be used, or you can always use any one of the solutions. So if you have to plan any building in the past, you would go to a designer, and in a week or two, and or say maybe a month, he could come up with only so many solutions. But with the help of these platforms, we could come up with any number of we could see n number of options that we can use, and we can use the optimum results for that specific plan. So I'm just going to play a video from the same TestFit platform that we just talked about. So that was about it. So along with that, we talked about how the clashes are detected in Navisworks Manage. So there are these programs that are getting developed where you would find that okay, if a BIM, if a pipe is clashing with a BIM, then there are these programs which would reroute that pipe based on its importance, and it will based on its importance and its optimum uh, optimized fit, and it will coordinate in itself. And once the coordinated model is there, we can produce the coordinated drawings from it. So this is again a similar program where the program is running a number of iterations to find out the best possible fit for that pipe or ductwork. Now these are the programs where we are feeding in the information to get the result that we want, and the program is doing millions of iterations to bring us a number of solutions or a number of plans that we can use. But there has been research, and there's a lot of people also working on the voice command, where you can just instead of putting in the rules and all the information into the program, you would be giving a voice command to the to Alexa, or say Next in case of Google. And this is one such video where a person is using uh, similar stuff. So we'll be getting options for our plan, for our area, based on our voice command, and there'll be a number of options. That is what we see the next 5 to 10 years. We see a lot of growth in this industry. There's a lot of research that is going on, and it's really exciting. I'm like, we are really excited to see what the kind of growth that will be in this industry next 5 to 10 years, where we would be. We won't be needing AutoCAD or any other, might be any other platform to plan and design. So this was the past where all the drawings used to be hand drawn, and this might be the future where we would give a voice command to a computer, and it will generate the models, it will give us the plans, it will give us the drawings, and we would execute as per that. So that is what I have to talk about, to explain you all the benefits of BIM. I hope it was useful, and thank you BSA for giving me the opportunity to speak about BIM, and I hope it was useful to everyone. Let's see if there is any questions.
Yeah, Mr. Sakre, I think we'll first stop the screen sharing, and I have sent you already the questions, and I request participants to raise their hands using the facility in the app if they have any questions, and or remove or put it in the chat. Like we have one question in the chat box, Mr. Sakre.
Okay, let me just.
Yeah.
Like in TestFit that I have, which uses parametric design. There are many plugins in Grasshopper 3D and possibly in Dynamo. Why is this method of design not very popular, considering the design framework is not something very new? Okay, thanks for that question. So the reason it is not popular is the very fact that it is a very complex process, and it's difficult for everyone to learn Grasshopper, or even if it's a 3D interface, a 3D coordinate. But if it's if the designer decides to go through the parametric process manually or digitally, it is a complex process compared to any other designing method. So this parametric process, it's a combination of mathematical operations, data analysis, computer science, and design strategies to be thought about all at once. Therefore, designers take longer time to learn parametric software than they take to learn any other 3D modeling platform. But like you mentioned, Grasshopper 3D or Dynamo, these plugins for with Rhinoceros 3D, that it offers a visual programming language interface which is easy and very intuitive to create and edit geometry using unsimplified nodes and components. So yes, we will be very soon we'll be seeing all these parametric families very getting done very easily. But we are in a transitional phase. That's why it's not being done. That's what I feel. I hope that answers your question.
Then we have Mr. Madhapuri asking difference between 3D and 4D.
So 3D is basically the 3D Revit model or any other Bentley. If you are using Autodesk, then, or if you are using Bentley, it's a 3D model which has all the entities, everything that is going to get built on site. It will be modeled. That is what 3D model is. And 4D is, so if you have a schedule for that project, a detailed schedule, you attach that schedule, you link that schedule with the 3D model of each with each and every entity of the 3D model. And that if you attach schedule, if you link schedule to the 3D model, it's 4D. And similarly, if you link estimate to the 3D model, it's 5D.
Okay.
How wide is this modeling used in India? When does it become necessary to use it? So the question is, we should not be asking the question that if you should use BIM, or even the question that what value does it bring to your project. The question we should be asking is why we do not use BIM in each and every project. The next question: how many builders are following this system in Mumbai? How many builders you have provided services for? Actually, we are working on one of the biggest academic project. Actually, it's in Dharwad, Hubli. I saw someone from Dharwad initially.
We have Mr. Dinesh Mahajan here still.
We are also working on one of the SIDCO project. It's a residential project. It's one of the biggest residential project in India. And with the help of all this rebar modeling and all of it, we have been very helpful to the client. The quantity extraction, we have given the quantity extraction during the tender stage, the quantity extraction during the GFC stage, and this has helped him a lot. So a lot of builders are using it. How we can make this solution available for everyone, because people still think this is costly affair and unnecessary for their project management. Like I said, if you could understand all the benefits that we have seen of using BIM, like for example, we have used a rebar USP, right? For a 12 lakh square feet area, it saved us roughly at least 2 crore rupees. And similarly, this digital project management consultancy, which gives clarity to a client and everything, it helps a lot if you use it. Even if it's a 2000 square feet bungalow that you are building, I think a BIM should be implemented in it because just because the mere fact that it gives a lot of clarity to the client. I know I'm repeating the same thing again and again, but it should be used for each and every project. It's really nice. I have all the tasks performed in any complete project work. Can we only carry with help of BIM only, or we need to take? So the task, the timeline schedule, we typically use Primavera, or there is Microsoft Timeliner also available, or we can also do task scheduling in simple Excel and link it to the 3D model. About the question from Mr. Ali Khan, he said it's a costly affair. Actually, it's not costly. It's going to save your cost and money and time. So, for example, if you are a structural designer and you are taking a geotechnical report versus you are not taking a geotechnical report. So the structural designer who is not taking geotechnical report, he is going to design the foundation for the least SBC, soil bearing capacity, versus if you take a geotechnical report, then he would use SBC of that site, and the footing size would reduce, right? So there's a lot of savings in that. Similarly in the BIM.
Could you please provide your contact details? That's okay. Contact details will be provided when we.
So let me just share the last slide again.
Yeah.
So these are my contact details.
Can you make that specific thing bigger?
Sorry?
Can you make that thing bigger?
Sure.
And this video will be posted on the YouTube channel of BI, and where they will provide the contact details also in the description. So there's Sakla sir, there's one more question.
Sure.
There in the chat. Where do you see BIM being used in future rather than just the commercial buildings? Do you think the local builders might use it, Oma?
Sorry, I didn't get. Let me just read out.
Yes.
Where do you see BIM being used in future rather than just the commercial buildings? Do you think the local builders might use it? Yes, we are in the stage where a lot of builders are trying to use it. But what has happened is there's been negative publicity with the BIM. So a lot of people have used it. They didn't see the benefits of it, and there was negative mouth publicity about the BIM. And the people who want to use it, because of that negative publicity, they are not using it.
I think nobody has raised their hand, and certificate and all that participants, we don't have the facility, we don't have the system of giving certificate, but we will give to whoever is requesting for it. If a student requires it, you please drop us an email at bi.mumbaicentre@gmail.com. We will give the certificate. Sakla sahib, I think there is no other further questions.
Okay.
I think, can I request Mr. Sushil Agarwal to unmute yourself and also come on the screen? Mr. Sushil Agarwal, our co-chairman for, he will be giving the conclusion remarks. Yeah, please.
Yes,
please.
Madhuji, I am there.
Yeah, you are there. Please give the
Yes,
conclusion. Sakla sahib, jara stay karta tumhe share.
So yes.
See, first of all, I'll congratulate Mohinder Rijwani and his team of BI Bombay office for organizing such a wonderful webinar delivered by Mr. Sawant Sakale. See, BIM is being a very interesting and very a subject of interest for project management. It looks quite complex, as Mr. Sakale also agreed. But he has explained to a good extent. I think this webinar should help our builders or members, BI members, to get a glimpse of the software, like what is BIM is about. So he has explained that BIM can help all the stakeholders, the client, contractor, PMC, architect, because this, as I understood, in BIM, all modeling is done in advance of starting the project. And besides that, all files, all data is at one place for access for everybody. That's a great advantage. And it can be updated from time to time. And again, everyone will have access to the updation also. So if whosoever uses this BIM, the software or this modern tool, he can save time, material, and ultimately money spent on the project. It has got auto estimation feature also. So from the 3D model, you can get all quantity estimation, even drawings generated automatically is a great advantage. And Mr. Sawan Sakale has explained everything in a very fine manner. So we are very thankful to Mr. Sawan Sakale and his team and his company Global Prism Infratech for actually serving the industry in this this modern technique and helping the nation cut cost and complete the project on time. We are coming up with a lot of high cost infrastructure projects, and if using this kind of this modern tool, we can save a lot of money of taxpayer. So I wish that more and more awareness is created, is spread in the industry, and even in the government sector for using this BIM software and getting advantage of it. So once again, I thank and congratulate Mr. Sawan Sakale and his team.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
for delivering today's webinar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sushil Logara Sahib. Mr. Jayparag Bhatia, Secretary, BI Mumbai Center. Sir, please go ahead with the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Our Sri Sushil Agrawal, Mechanization and Modern Technology Committee of BI have already given his concluding remarks on the today's webinar. I would only like to add that we all, contractors and builders, should not only look into the cost implementation for such technology, but also consider it for long-term gains to us. I would like to doubly thank Sri Sawan Sakale for his being today's keynote speaker and giving a very informative presentation. Through the time given to him for such a topic was very less. Secondly, I would like to thank him for bringing the board of his firm, Mrs. Global Prism Infratech Private Limited, as a joint organization of the today's webinar. I thank Sri Sushil Agrawal, BIA, Mechanization Committee and Modern Technology Committee for giving his concluding remarks and very rapidly summing up the webinar. I thank all the participants for registering and attending today's webinar. I take this opportunity to appreciate Sri Mahendra Rijwani, our chairman of BIA Mumbai Center, for diligently carrying forward this legacy of Mumbai Center and organizing these webinars. Last but not least, I would like to thank the back office of BI Mumbai Center, especially Sri S. Madhusudan, for a very good work all round organizing of the webinar. Before we conclude, I would like to inform that lecture number 21 of BI Mumbai Center monthly lecture series is on Friday, 29th October 2021 at 5 p.m. And the topic is Understanding Letter of Credit. The keynote speaker is Shri Krishnendu Das, subject matter expert, trade, ICICI Bank Limited. More details will be circulated shortly and everyone is requested to attend the same. Thanks for offering.
Thank you everybody. Thank you. Sakasab, thank you. And for everybody, so this the YouTube, the video of this is actually live on YouTube and it will remain so. And we will also host it after a properly edited video will be hosted on the, and the contact details of Mr. Sawan Sakale will be there in the description of the YouTube video. Thank you everybody once again.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Everybody can unmute themselves if they want to share some pleasantries. I am allowing participants to unmute themselves. Anybody wants to ask anything off the record, they can ask and they can share their thoughts.
Sir, can you share the link of the channel?
Yeah, I'll share it in the chat.
Thank you, sir.
Will the link for next session be shared via email, or do we need
Yeah,
to?
via email. If you can mention your email ID in the chat, we will do that. Or you can, even if you are registered today for this event, you'll automatically get this thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Actually, what is the cost of this BEAM app?
So I was expecting this question before.
The cost is the first part for all contractors and developers.
I was expecting this way before. So
Yeah.
actually, sir, to answer this question, it varies a lot depending upon what your requirement is, what kind of project you have, if it's a residential, if it's a commercial. So it all would we could only be able to quote if we get to know the project specifics and the client requirements.
Mr. Saklek, in terms of percentage, can you say something in terms of percentage?
So still in that case also, it's very difficult to to generalize it, because
how about the timeline? Like how much time it takes to?
So once we have the drawings, the CAD drawings available for making the model, the modeling part for a typical residential project would like of say 10,000 square feet floor plate area would take like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, but that timeline varies depending on how much team of us is working on it. If it's the urgent work that is required, then we can always use in more of the team and get it done fast. But again, the BEAM does not end once the project is end. It's throughout the project life cycle, before, during, and after the construction.
What is the purpose after construction of this BEAM?
It is used for facility management or operations management, like we talked about. So the client is given the 3D model, and he can use the 3D model to.
Yeah, continue.
So he can use the 3D model using the platform like UBIM, and so this facility management is more useful for the electrical features, the HVACs, or other items like I talked about during the presentation of the CCTV or any electrical fixture light. If it goes off, then it sends an email to the required vendor, and if it's linked with the BMS software that the way it is done for the BSL-3 laboratory, then there are sensors in the project which would raise alarm if it reaches the safety threshold. And in that case, the automated alarm is generated to that vendor, and he comes and fixes it. So we have been very fortunate to work on the a laboratory where viruses like coronavirus will be researched, and operations management of that project, and the BEAM model is linked to the BMS software in that project.
How old is this BEAM system?
So it's been 15, 18 years, 20 years before the BEAM started. So I remember using Revit 2008, and it was a decade after I started using. So 1990s is when it started.
Sean, can you use the?
Sir, system?
Sorry, sir, say that again.
This Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation, we have come up with a new building.
Okay.
10-12 years back, even they are using some kind of this system.
They might be. I'm not sure of which building you're talking about.
The NMMC building that on the Palm Beach Road, Navi Mumbai.
I'm not aware of it, sir. Okay. If they are using or not.
Haji, Mrs. Sean, I wanted to know, can you load files from drone?
Yes, sir. So yes, sir. So BIM and GIS
shooting on by drone, and then yes, can you use those files for BIM?
Yes, sir. So like I said about the LiDAR technology, so we there are a lot of agencies who are doing a survey through drone, the LiDAR survey, and they are developing a model. We can develop a model in BIM. The recap is what the software used for developing that model. So there's BIM and GIS integration also going on about the same.
Okay.
So Sakre,
During
Mr.
execution.
Sushil Agarwal is a very big contractor from Pune, Tejas Infrastructure.
Okay, sir. Good to know that.
He's a big man.
Okay. We are working on a Bill's project in Pune.
Okay, ABIL, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Castle Royal, it's what it's called.
Right.
Mr. Nadeem has raised his hand.
Sorry?
Yes, Mr. Nadeem, you want to ask any question?
Mr. Nadeem, unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. Mr. Nadeem, Mr. Uday Shah. Mr. Uday Shah, you can unmute yourself. Bola.
Sakle sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, actually, I joined the seminar in the very end, but I had one question that
Sure.
this is a SaaS or this is a build, operate, transfer?
SaaS or build, operate, transfer.
So person gets a copy of the software or you will put it in the cloud and he can only access to cloud.
Okay, so to answer that, so there's a lot of free platforms like the BIM 360 that I've talked about. It's available for free. You can always view the model online for free. There is another software called Navisworks Freedom. It's also available for free.
Can you share the link, please?
A link of what? A link of that software?
Yeah, so if somebody wants to have a both to
yeah, so Navisworks Freedom is available for free. I'll share that link. I'll still need to Google and find it out. But BIM 360 is something that we would need to, we give access on that platform to our stakeholders or our clients.
It is an app based or what?
You can always also view it on your mobile.
But sir, you never answered the question. It's a SaaS or it's like EXE. I can keep the software and
you can. I didn't get your question actually, sir. SaaS means what?
SaaS is basically there are two types. SaaS is software as a service, wherein the person can access it only from the browser and he does not have the software exe files.
Okay, okay. So BIM 360 is the SaaS where you can only use it in browser, and Navisworks Freedom is the executable file that you can use it on your computer without internet.
And Sakle sir, have you just done yourself study in-house that this software proves value to how many units of a society? Like if there is just one bungalow, then would this make sense? Or there's a society of 5 members, would this make sense? Where is that this software creates an optimum value for deployment?
That's a good one, sir. Actually, if you are making a bungalow, the person who is going to make bungalow, he would still need to know what exactly he is going to build. He would still need to know the tiles or whatever material that he's using. It's good enough for him. That bungalow, it's still going to use the structural drawing, where the steel can be saved using the rebar USP, where the tiles can be saved in the flooring. If he's having a costly cladding going on, then he can always save on the cladding. So if it's a small bungalow, then obviously he will save more than the BIM consultancy cost for that project. But the thing what's happening is, sir, a lot of people don't implement it. So there have been projects that we have done. We have given, we direct them to do such so and so things, but those things don't get implemented on the project in real time. And and that's why for any of the big project, we deploy a BIM coordinator from our side, and he's paid monthly from the client, and he takes care of all the implementation of the BIM actually on site.
Sir, just a quick question. A BIM coordinator needs to have what prerequisite if a person wants to become a BIM coordinator?
He should understand the BIM software completely. And along with that,
before a person starts understanding a BIM software, does he needs to be from architect background or even 10 class, 12 class is good enough?
There is no requirement of that. So in my team, I have mechanical engineers who are working as a BIM coordinator. They do So for MEP coordination, we need a mechanical or an electrical engineer there because they are more used to it. And for ASI architecture structure, we need either an architect or a civil engineer. But we have people who are civil engineer and they do coordination for the complete MEP as well as ASI.
And so what is the minimum ticket size if I just say, okay, I want to use a BIM on the smallest 1 BHK?
So before I answer that question, I want to continue answering the previous question. I was talking about a civil engineer being a coordinator, and we have also trained the client staff within a month or two, and now their coordinators or site engineers are actually working as BIM coordinators. So this works as win-win situation for both us and the client, where they don't have to pay monthly extra to the BIM consultant. To answer your second question, which was what is the minimum ticket size, is starts from 4 to 5 lakhs and go onwards, go north of it.
Sir,
3 to 5 lakhs and you can go up for.
So I really think this is a really, how to say, this is a really beautiful idea.
Yes.
But for small people who are doing a redevelopment,
yes.
Isn't this over-purposization of technology when this can be also achieved with an Excel sheet?
That's the sad part of it, sir. That is the only way we are using data. The only way we are using data is in the Excel sheet. We data. So during the presentation, I've told this, there are so many. So if you have a 5,000 square feet area and if you want to make bungalow, so example, there have been thousands of drawings that have been created all across the globe for that 2,000 or 5,000 square feet, and there are already so many designs available, but they don't exist anywhere on any platform digitally. So about the testfit.io that I talked about, it's doing the same. It's taking designs, the unused data, putting it into one algorithm, where you can just put in your rules and your requirements, and it will come up with the optimized design. So Excel should be the output, not the input for the BIM software.
Mr. Saman.
Yes, sir.
I am from Hubli Dharwad, Dinesh Man. Which project are you handling in Hubli
IIT Dharwad, sir. IIT Dharwad.
Acha, IIT. Okay. Thank you.
Sakle sir, thanks a lot for sharing it. Yes. The point actually I was trying to make was that 3 to 5 lakh, even if an existing structure is there, somebody would like to make a list of the vendors who are existing doing the operations and everything. So do you have any free to public facility where they can use this? So it will be a really win-win for you that people would come to know of this facility.
So
good idea.
I missed the first part. Can you please repeat? I missed the first part. Sorry for that.
Sakle sir, this is a really good way for buildings and societies to keep operations in on the leash.
Yes.
But the people who are managing them are of an age group where they don't know what is happening currently, what are the changes.
Exactly.
So if you have a free to public utility, because there are many free to public utilities, wherein the backend can be the Google Drive for loading the data and everything, and you can just provide the front end.
I wish, sir. I wish if I could provide, but
you have the bandwidth.
Yes, but providing the facility or operations management service to any of the existing society, it's again a costly affair. When I say costly, the modeling won't take much time, but getting data of existing service, doing a scan and everything, and getting numbers of the vendors, different vendors that are associated with that project, that is going to be require a lot of man hours and labors to put in. And the first thing,
sorry to interrupt, but let me continue. That is when you said you have already executed a challenge of training the on-site people. So in this case, if I'm not wrong, there is already an institution which is training people to write society accounts.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that can be creation for building managers for this position. So that will only give better services into a building,
Yes.
and this could be a good vertical, not vertical, but how to say, a parallel line.
Exactly. The very good service it would be.
Mr. Uday, you came late? Mr. Uday? गेले वाटतं ते. Mr. Uday Shah? Mohinder sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Why, Mr. Uday Shah, he has muted himself.
Yeah, he is muted.
Mr. Uday Shah, you can unmute yourself. There's a debate going on, interesting debate to the
I
whole.
was not able to unmute myself.
You can unmute yourself. I have
And,
made.
So
Anyway, Mr.
again,
Uday Shah, this is a
one more
debate going on,
point.
and we have reached beyond. I know Mr. Sakli is also enjoying it, and those who have stayed back are the ones who are really serious about this topic.
Mr. Madhusudan.
So one more thing I have observed over this that should be taken care of is the client giving the architect or a consultant or a structural designer the BIM part. So the BIM consultant should be hired directly from the client so that he would be under his supervision and he would be the control person directly under the client. Second thing that I have observed in the industry is, like I said before, there's a lot of negative publicity that has happened because the client has understood the uses of BIM, but he was not able to get the required profit or the required benefit while using it. Maybe because for some or the other reason. And this has led to negative publicity, and people who want to use BIM, they have to give a lot of rethinking before using it.
Sakle sir, do you take Zoom meetings or any online presence wherein your prospective clients can see the demo of the software, or is there any site where I can see the software in play in Mumbai, anywhere?
So actually, there's no, there are a lot of online YouTube videos available. If you just Google use of building information modeling, actually our website, if you go onto our website, prisminfratech.in, it also has good amount of information in it, where it will showcase all the projects that we have worked on, and it will actually give you walkthrough of all the things that can be done in BIM. But if there is any requirement where someone would need to understand this more, I'll be happy to conduct another presentation. So right now, since it was a Builders Association of India, I tailored the presentation such that it is talking about the buildings only. But BIM is also extensively used for other infrastructure projects like road, highways, metros.
Sakre Sahib, we should have told me this. Our basic Builders Association of India, though the name is like that, it was founded in 80 years back by, so we are all basically a contractors body.
Oh,
we have 80% contractors, 20% builders.
Oh, actually.
And nowadays the differentiating line between builder and contractors has vanished. L&T is into real estate also.
Yes.
Nagarjuna is into real estate. Everybody is HCC is into so that differentiating line has gone. We are basically now, for example, Mr. Sushil Raghav, he is an irrigation contractor, very big irrigation contractor based out of Pune.
Actually, we have worked in on a sewage treatment plant here near Chandrapur as a BIM consultant. And there are metros. BIM can also be implemented for highways. The MSRDC for the Nagpur Mumbai Samruddhi Highway, they are implementing BIM. Metros, Nagpur Metro, Pune Metro, they are already implementing BIM. And even in the railways, they have started implementing BIM. So there's no such infrastructure facility where BIM is not implemented. Even in the thermal power station, we have actually produced shop drawings for a client in US, which was a chiller, a mechanical plant room, a mechanical device. So BIM is actually BIM can implemented in all kinds of.
Anyway, we can have another event couple of months down the line.
Sure.
You see, now I'll share the Google registration details with you. You get in touch with people. Then
I hope the presentation was clear and.
Yeah, everything was nice. Everything was nice and happy. Only thing Mr. Uday Shah, a person like Mr. Uday Shah should have joined much earlier. We had a lot of queries. We were virtually, both of you were debating with each other, and others were getting the benefit out of that, the knowledge benefit.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we are well within the, well past the time we should have called it an evening or a day. Mr. Udesha, thanks. Mr. Udesha, you have to say something again. You are raising your hand. You can unmute yourself, Mr. Udesha.
Sir, I actually kept this in my agenda, but I had another prior commitment. That's the reason I got late. But anyway, sir, what I understand is from this much conversation is that this is just an ERP customized to real estate or a construction activity.
Both, sir, both for real estate as well as for construction. And,
thank you, sir.
And again, Uday sir, if there is any presentation that if there is any anything that you would want me to explain, let me know. I can always conduct a Zoom meeting and explain it to you.
I will sir connect with you privately
for
understanding other win-win opportunities we can explore.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you, everybody. I think Chairman sir, I think we'll end. Sushil Agarwal sir, तुम्हाला काय बोलायचं होतं? तुम्ही काहीतरी बोलत होते. I think he is not there.
Madhusudan ji, just
yes,
sir, one request. Sir, are you aware of any like contractors or builders which are in Nasik to Pimpalgaon Baswant area, NH3?
No.
Pardon, come again?
I'm looking for any contractor or a builder, a prominent, who is operating in the area of NH3, Nasik to Pimpalgaon Baswant, which comes on the Dhule route, NH3.
You will drop me an email on the email ID which I have mentioned in the chat section.
Okay.
Or get in touch with me.
Which email ID, sir?
bai.mumbaicenter, CNTRE. Have you registered for today's event?
Yeah, I have, sir. I have in my email. I have. But sir, if
then you will get an email informing you about the YouTube link of this this thing, or you must have already received an email just now before the event started, 1 hour before at 4 o'clock, confirming your registration. So you can use the same email ID to request for such information. We will surely get in touch with our Nasik people and let
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Sakra sir, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining. I request once again everyone to join on 29th also.
Sakra sir, that is something not that is a letter of credit.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Now you will be informed. You will be automatically informed.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. Good evening, rather.
Good evening. Thank you, Sakra.